Hello, warriors. How are you? Welcome back to the Warriors Table for episode 2. And tonight we're going to chit chat. I'm just going to kind of walk you through a day in the life of a single mom entrepreneur who has multiple income streams. Um, and you hear and see a lot of this a lot. So I want to kind of walk you through my day. My day's not going to be typical to everybody else's day, but you may see a little bit of yourself in certain parts of my day, which is why I thought we'd talk about it. If you're completely new to my channel, my name is Rudy. I am the founder and creator of Reemerging Spirits Life Warrior, which is a brand that helps single moms start their own businesses or grow the little hobby side hustle they have into a real business, um, so that they can have not only the business, but the life that they want on their terms that's going to allow them to show up as their best selves for themselves and their families. So that is what we do here. My YouTube that comes out at the beginning of the week is always business strategies. We talk about everything from content creation to different types of businesses, different strategies, marketing, sales, um, lead generation, all the business buzzwords that we talk about that generally. That episode comes out on Monday. And I wanted to do this second episode on Fridays, which is a little more casual, just some friends sitting around the Warriors table together, chewing the fat, spilling the tea. And we're just going to talk a little bit more about the entrepreneurial life, the lifestyle. Last week, I started with my very first episode and I shared you some of the things behind the scenes that I actually use just to keep myself organized. And this week, I thought maybe I'd break it down for you and walk you through my day, because this is kind of what it looks like to have multiple income streams. It is not for the faint of heart, let me tell you. For those of you that may be newer to my channel and don't know me as well, um, I'm not sure what comes to mind for you when you think entrepreneur or mompreneur. There's all those little catchphrases out there. And I think a lot of people immediately think like the lady that, sells Mary Kay or Tupperware or maybe has a little daycare out of her home. And those are all very respectable, legit income streams for women who want to work for themselves. But there's this whole other plethora out there as well that goes well beyond that. And sometimes you don't think of things until someone else shares their story with you and you go, wow, oh, I never thought of that before. Maybe that could be me. And I'm one of those people. That's why I love to share and I love to come alongside other women and help empower them and lift them up. Um, I am a multiple income stream entrepreneur, and I'm in the online space, the physical products space, and the physical service space. So you're like, what does that mean? So I am one of those people that does a network marketing business on the side. Um, for those that maybe aren't too sure specifically what an MLM is, those are all your things like Mary Kay, Avon, Tupperware, Pampered Chef. I am involved with that and I have been for well over 15 years and I do love it. It's a great little side hustle to make extra money, especially for like stay-at-home moms or single moms who you really want to do something on the side, but not necessarily something that's going to take all your time away from your kids. So I've been doing that for a long, long time, but I'm also very hands-on. I like to work with my hands. So I started and opened my own handy woman company. Oh gosh, over 12 years ago. I'm a one woman show. I don't have a crew or a team. Um, but I've been doing that for over 12 years. So that is my main day job. Just doing different odd jobs for people, from anything from like tiling a backsplash in someone's kitchen. And the next week I may be on a roof for somebody, maybe just doing some sealing where there may be some leaks. Um, and the next week after that, I may be inside painting a accent wall in somebody's master bedroom. But then the next week, I may be outside completely redigging and configuring some outdoor gardens for someone who has a vision, but they just need a little bit of help putting in the sweat equity to make it come to life. So I do all sorts of to odd jobs. And I've been doing that for 12 years. So that keeps me very busy. But I live up here in Canada, if you weren't aware. We have some pretty cold, snowy winters. And because a good 50% of the handiwork I do tends to be outdoors. Um, and then I find in my uh, job that not as many people want a whole lot of stuff done in the middle of the winter. For one, it's cold. People just want to get home from work and relax on the couch, cuddled up under a blanket. So they don't really want a whole lot of renos going on in their house. In the spring, people get the itch. They want to do things, and all of a sudden, my phone starts ringing off the wall. From spring to fall, I'm crazy busy. But a lot of the winter, I don't work as much, and the little jobs trickle in here and there, but it's not as steady as it is throughout the summer. So that's why I've been doing that for 12 years, but I've been involved with an MLM for over 15 years, because I've always been of that mind to have a little something else in my back pocket. So I have more free time to do that in the winter. And then I also then about 3 years ago started the Reemerging Spirit Life Warriors, which is my online business, where I'm like, I've successfully started my handy woman business. And I mean, from everything from, having to buy new tools, um, learning how to invoice and quote, and how to actually register my business legally and get a business name and a business number. And that's a lot to go through. So I thought I'm going to start helping teach other women how to go through all this stuff to make it a little easier for them and make them not feel so all alone when they're doing it, like I was when I did it. I'm just like, if I could help someone else through the process a little quicker, a little easier, without a lot of the hassle, then, I've done a good thing for someone. So I do a lot of business coaching, how to set up your business bank account. But then we dive into all the other things that go with having a business nowadays, all the online marketing and, like teaching people that it doesn't matter whether you're with Tupperware or whether you have a handy woman business like me, or maybe you're really amazing at doing cakes and cupcakes and you've always dreamed of, starting your own little cake business. There's still that legal stuff that you kind of need to know in the background, having a proper business bank account. Um, there's a lot of stuff in the back that it's just helpful to kind of have someone help you walk through. Um, so I have the online business and also other things. As I said, I'm a multi-income stream entrepreneur. But those are some of the big main ones that I share with you today. So on any given day, my day can look really super crazy. So for me, my day starts around 7 a.m., which is, for some people, they're like, oh, that's not too bad. I get up earlier, but I'm not a morning person by nature to begin with, like at all. So seven's good. 7's when I start my day. And depending on the job site and where I am, I could be at work by 8, sometimes 9. If I'm doing some work for someone and they're in a condo where they may have a little more like condo rules about noise and stuff, then I might not be on a job site till almost 9. But if it's for a private homeowner and I'm outside landscaping or something, I could be there as early as 7:30, 8 in the morning and get doing my thing. Um, so my mornings, because I'm not really awake yet, I just do this whole thing, coffee first, maybe do a little bit of journaling, kind of go through my to-do list for the day, what I got to do, what I got to get done. And then I start by collecting what I need for the day. Now, not every day am I always going to a handy woman actual job. But on a day when I am, then I'm collecting, making my lunch, make sure I got lots of water with me, pack my whole little cooler, make sure I have whatever tools I need for the day. Because I don't like to take everything I own with me. Because if I'm just outside doing some landscaping for someone, I don't need my table saw with me to dig some gardens. If I'm just painting for someone, I don't need my gardening tools. So I always have that little to-do list in the morning for what kind of job I'm doing that day, collect whatever tools I'm going to need for that job. And then off I go. And I could work anywhere from 6 hours to uh, 10, 12-hour day, depending on the day and whether it's indoors, outdoors, whether the client's home or not. That makes a difference too. Sometimes people pay me to do, some painting and maybe some tiling and stuff in their house, but they'll book me to do it specifically when they're away on vacation for the week, so they don't have to be living in the mess while I do the job. And on jobs like that, where I know like they're only gone for the week and I have this list of things they want done before they get back. And, they're not trying to, feed their kids dinner around me at 5 o'clock. I'll stay later on those jobs when the house is empty and I'm there by myself. I'll work late. But if it's a job where the people are home and they kind of want to get back to their life, I will cut it short and just, okay, I'm out of there by 4, 5 o'clock at the latest. But sometimes in our hot summer, because it can get pretty damn hot. If I'm outside doing outdoor work and we're having like record breaking heat days where even like the weatherman on the news is saying like, if you don't have to be outside in it, don't be, stay inside and hydrate and stay in your air conditioning. Those are the kind of days we may cut the day short. We get out as early in the morning as we can and get as much done as we can, but by 1 or 2 in the afternoon, you kind of happen to call it for the day, or else you'll get heat stroke and heat exhaustion, and that's no good for anybody. But then on those days when I'm home early, then I come home, take a shower, get cleaned off, and I dive into the online stuff. I'm doing my content creating. I usually have different freebies I offer every month. It could be a how-to PDF, but it takes time to sit at the computer and create that. What information am I going to put in it? Needs to have a pretty cover page. And then you need to create a bunch of social media posts to advertise your freebie. And then you have to have a whole funnel system. So when people say, yeah, I want the freebie, well, how are you delivering it to them? And all the things. So there's all kinds of parts of the online business that you're running in the background. And I do that on the days where I'm home early from work. I do those in my evenings. That's what I'm doing on like Sunday afternoon while I'm watching a bit of TV. My laptop's on my lap on the couch and I'm working away on it there. Um, so it's in the nooks and crannies of everything else I do. And then you're doing all that, you've got to do follow up as well. So people have said yes to something or someone's reached out to you and asked you a question. you got to do follow up. Well, I'm doing my follow up from my phone. Well, I'm standing in line at the cash waiting to check out doing my groceries, or when I'm at the bank waiting in line. Um, Things like that. I'm literally putting in little parts of my business throughout my whole day. If it's a longer day where I'm working on a handy job and it's one of my longer days where I'm putting in that full 8-10 hour day, I'm posting a couple of reels, or I'm posting a post about something for my online business on my coffee breaks or on my lunch break, answering emails on my lunch break. You know what I mean? I do try not to answer phone calls when I'm on a ladder, but that's kind of my boundary where I draw the line. So anyway, um, not that I haven't, just don't tell anybody. But yeah, it's just this ongoing thing. So I can work all day, come home, and then like in between all that, I still have a life. Those that have been around a while will know that I'm a member of a pipes and drums band. Yeah, Highland, bagpipes and drums. And I'm the bass drummer. So I have band practice once a week, almost like every other weekend, especially throughout the summer. We're usually at some sort of parade or Scottish festival. Plus, our community always wants us at things like the businesses will hire us to come and play a song or two at like the grand opening of their business. We play weddings, funerals, anytime there's any kind of a community parade, Santa Claus parades, Canada Day parade, our pipe band does a lot of stuff. So that keeps me busy too. And that's peppered in with everything else I do. So any given day can look pretty cray-cray. But it's all doable. But it really truly is about making sure you have boundaries, like you have some serious, like, no, that's where I draw the line, and systems. And we've been talking a lot about systems this week in my business stuff because it is so key and so important. Because especially when I'm super busy with the pipe band, or I'm super busy in the middle of the summer with all my construction clients that have me doing all sorts of jobs. Um, my online business isn't neglected or, set off on the back burner because I'm busy. I have systems in place. When I have a quiet day or my Sunday afternoons, I will batch out all my content for a week or two so that I'm not posting content personally myself every day. But I'm showing up on socials every day. And like I have my weekly YouTube that comes out on Monday where I talk business strategies. You know, if I'm in the middle of a couple of jobs and they're outdoor jobs, like say I'm doing a bunch of landscaping for someone and I have another client next and I'm painting their porch for them, and they're outdoor jobs. Those are weather pending. If Mother Nature decides to rain for 2 days straight, well, I'm not going out to do those jobs. So when I get blessed with one of those rare days where, okay, I was planning to work so many days this week, but Mother Nature had other plans. And I'm like, you know what? I'm stuck at home. It's raining. Those are the days where, you know what? I will record videos all day and get like 6 or 7 of the videos recorded in advance. And that means for the next 7 weeks, I don't have to record another video. They're already done. They're already ready. I won't post them till later because you can schedule them out to post. But I'm not having to make every individual video every individual week. So It's just really learning to get in that flow and that rhythm and have that grace period to say, okay, here for the most part is my schedule. Here's my systems I have in place to do all those things. But you're still flexible. If I get an extra rainy day, cool. I'm going to use that extra rainy day to get a little further ahead. If I get super extra busy, because every once in a while, I'll already be in the middle of a job for one or two clients that I'm kind of working with. And then someone will come and they need something done and it is an emergency. Well, I'll squeeze them in. And that may mean that I'm working all day, like 7, 8 in the morning till 5 at one job for a client, and then go home, grab a real quick bite to eat for dinner, and then go to the other job in the evening for that person because it's like an emergency and it's something they need done right away. And now I'm burning the candle at both ends. But my online business is not suffering or failing for that because I've already pre-scheduled and pre-recorded all my stuff weeks out. Um, my MLM business is not necessarily getting neglected either because I have little newsletters that are going out to my customers fairly regularly every week. Just, letting them know what specials there is. And, I have systems. I have things in place that kind of keep all the balls rolling. Um, do I occasionally fall a little off my own pattern? Of course, we're all human. It happens. Because sometimes extra things kind of come out of the blue. Um, like every once in a while, I'm working and I'm a very hard worker and, nose to the grindstone, go, go, go. And then I'll kinda a friend will just say and they'll call me like Thursday night or Friday morning going, "Hey, you know, going to the cottage, there's a spare seat. You wanna go? Like, we're leaving in an hour." There's many times I say, "No, sorry, like, it's not in the cards." But then every once in a while, I'll think, "You know what? I haven't done anything fun and hung out with my friends in months. You know what? Let's do it." I literally will pretty much play hooky. Um, I will just tell my clients something came up, see you Monday, fill a little overnight bag, and off I go. But all of my stuff is not neglected or not happening because I decided to go and run away and do something spur of the moment. Because I have systems, because I'm batching, I'm recording stuff in advance and ahead. Um, and I just want to say, and I'm such a huge proponent. I love to be an advocate for multiple income streams because I can see how unpredictable things can be. We had the recession in 2008 with the housing market crash. We've had the pandemic. Like, you really don't know from one day to the next what life is going to throw at you. So for me personally, it makes sense to have your eggs not all in one basket, but spread out, which is why I love having my handy woman business because I love to work with tools and work with my hands. And I love to be able to stand back at the end of the day and see the before and the after and go, I did that. I created that. Um, but during the first several months of the pandemic, when we were in like mandatory lockdowns and mandatory social distancing, I couldn't go into people's homes and work. But I still had my MLN and I had my online business. Same thing, even with my own personal job, I get slow in the winter, but I still have my online business and the MLM. And then in the summer, when I'm so super crazy busy with my handywoman business, it gets 90% of my focus. But so that my other clients and customers don't forget about me, my MLM and my online business are still quietly chugging along like a little choo-choo train behind the scenes, and they're still doing their thing, almost on autopilot without me having to babysit it every single day. And then it just becomes fun because then I can pop on and just go live from time to time when I really, really want to. So I just thought we'd spend this chat, our Warriors Table, episode 2, and just kind of give you a general idea of a day in the life of a multi income stream entrepreneur. Um, and I just told you about my main 3. I actually do have other income streams as well, but those are the big 3 main ones that you will see most visibly in the public and that I talk about the most or share about the most or I teach about the most. Um, because I want people to know that, hey, if I can do it, you can do it too. So whether you want to start a service-based business like I do with my handy woman company, maybe for you it's cake baking, or maybe you want to start like an in-home daycare or like a Montessori type school. Um, maybe you're really good with hair and you just want to run a little hair salon out of your own home. Um, the possibilities are endless in the service field. Maybe you really like animals and you want to be a professional, like a dog walker or a pet sitter. I live in a very cottage country kind of touristy town, and that is something that a lot of people use around here, like pet sitters and stuff. So there's 100 different service-based businesses you could think of and try and start. And then there are lots of like online type businesses you can start. MLMs are wonderful too. Um, it really just depends on where your passion lies, what your main end goal really is that you want to do. Um, maybe you just like to make stuff and sell it. Maybe you're crafty. Maybe you do a lot of crocheting. Maybe you do wood burning. Maybe you make ceramics or stained glass. Maybe you make jewelry. Maybe you make candles, soaps. And you just want to spend all week making a whole bunch of stuff and then posting it and selling it. Um, I do a little of that too. So I can help you and walk you through all that. Um, but it's possible. And I just love that the peace and the security it brings to be able to know that no matter if any one of them kind of dips, like in the winter when my handy woman stuff goes down, I've got the other income streams. It's not like I'm ever in a position where I'm not earning money. They're all in their own way and at their own ebbs and flows, bringing in income. And it's just like a big safety lock in my pocket. Um, and if you don't have that in your life, like I'm going to challenge you a little and ask you, why don't you? Um, I used to be that single mom way back in the day, going and killing myself like 40 hours or more a week at my like barely above minimum wage job working at the local grocery store. I worked there for like 13, 14 years and killing myself, taking extra shifts, taking overtime when I could, and still could barely make the bills. Why would you put yourself in a position where that's your only income? Because then what happens? What if that business all of a sudden closes down overnight and you don't have a job at all? Or what if all of a sudden they downsize and make a lot of cutbacks and you either get fired or just drastically have your hours cut and you've got no other income coming in from somewhere else? Like, I can't stress enough how important multiple income streams are. So I hope sharing with you a little about my day didn't completely scare you away. Or maybe you're just thinking that girl really is crazy. It's okay. But yeah, it's just, and I think the key important thing is not to jump if you only have one job now, one income stream now, you don't want to jump into all of a sudden having 10 overnight. I layered all those in. When I still had my job at the grocery store, I started doing MLM as kind of just a part-time thing to bring in, a couple of extra $100 a month. And because I've been doing that like 16, so yeah, it's been a while, 16, 17 years. And then uh, I left the job at the grocery store to start my handy woman business 12 years ago. So I had already been doing the MLM for 3 or 4 years before I got this bright idea to open my handy woman company. And then I started the online business 6 years ago. So by then, I'd already had my handy woman business for 6 years. So it was a kind of a well-oiled machine already doing its own thing before I added in the online business. So you do want to be aware that it's not a good idea to all of a sudden start a whole bunch of income streams all simultaneously. You want to start one, get some momentum going with it and get it kind of solidified. And when it's kind of going well on its own without a whole lot of effort, then you can add in your next income stream and then let that one kind of build some momentum, then add in another one. You want to layer them in. But that's my chitty chat for you today. We're going to continue this format. So the Monday video is always going to be business. Hopefully it brings a lot of value to you, all the things. And this one we're going to try and do on Fridays. Uh, that's the goal. And it's going to be more of a casual chit chat amongst friends around the table. Grab your cup of coffee, bring your glass of wine. No judgment here. And we're just going to talk about the entrepreneurial lifestyle and all the things. All right. So I'm going to let you go. Thank you for joining me for episode 2 of the Warriors Table. And as I always like to say, reemerge, rise, and reign. And we'll see you in the next video.